of what caused the crisis. And you just look at the appendix and look at all the reference documents that have been used to create that document. It's perhaps the most comprehensive document capturing the aspirations of Kenyans.
Right.
And people just need to look at it. Unfortunately, people don't look at this thing. You listen to what is out there, you read in the social media, and then you say, this thing is bad. But when we look at it, and when we now debate it, unfortunately, I actually did table and bring enough copies from members of parliament. So it's in a table office for people to actually look at. By the time we actually get the debate, I would want to encourage as many as possible to look through it, see, and look at the document based on its content value rather than the hype out there.
Let's talk about the two-thirds gender principle.
Yes.
Your predecessor did introduce it in the National Assembly
6 times.
6 times.
Yeah.
Why has it been very hard for the National Assembly and even Parliament as a whole to dispense of this?
You bring an issue about mainstream women in a parliament full of men. Surely, I know the desperation that the women members of parliament have had. We've been invited for parties and dinners, and people have said they will support, only to come to the floor of the house and find no support. And you need to get 233, 2,000 members to change the constitution. It's very difficult, and hence it got to the point where Chief Justice Maraga, just before he left, ended up advising the president to dissolve the House. It's that drastic. But the president, in his wisdom, said, what would I rather do? Disband the House or include the same provisions in the BBI? So we now have a good situation where members of the parliament don't have to be the ones making that decision.
Right.
The people of Kenya, who in their wisdom, in 2010, said they want two-thirds gender rule. Two-thirds, the gender rule applied on elected position. They then have a decision to make. Yes, we are happy. We know it will cost, but we are prepared to bear the costs. Okay. And it's going to be, it's limited to 3 elections. During those 3 election cycles, it also become clear, people keen on, basically, they want the two-thirds. Are they willing to also elect the women? And because of the way it's been done within the BBI, it's not just saying there will be a top-up. But the women are also being given an opportunity to participate in the election by IEBC ensuring. I think there's a provision within Article 89 that basically will then say that political parties will have to submit a list that is gender compliant. If they don't, there will be sanctions for that. And at least that gives women a foothold or one leap into the game, that 120 of them will be expected to be candidates. Now, conversion of the 120 from candidates to members of parliament is a combination of many things. And lessons will be learned in the first election, the second election. By the time you go to the third election, if people then say, this thing is not working, all right? Then people have a choice to then say, can we remove the two-thirds gender rule altogether, right? Because it was in the Bill of Rights in Article 23. It was made in Article 81. And at this point, the architecture of the BBI was to ensure that no gains that were captured within the 2010 Constitution were reversed. It can only be built on. So if people of Kenya decide they want to reverse something, they have an opportunity after BBI has passed.
All right.
When the reality hits them.
Okay, finally, you are a beneficiary of a disciplinary process within the Jubilee Party. Before you came to the office, there's someone who exited the office courtesy of a decision that was endorsed by the parliamentary group. Yesterday, we did see a circular which was issued by the party's management committee expelling 6 senators for breaching the party's constitution. Are we going to see more of that going into the fifth session? Because I believe as a party, you need to push the agenda of government in Parliament. And if at all you feel that that agenda is not being pushed enough, that there is a dead weight somewhere, then perhaps you need to shed it off. Are we going to be seeing more of that?
I believe this. Okay, let me first of all correct the situation. I didn't come into the office because of a disciplinary process, because Honorable Duale was not being added in a disciplinary mechanism. It's just the members who expressed that they didn't have the confidence in him leading because of perhaps he had exhibited allegiance to one faction, and hence people, are like not quite sure. They needed somebody who is neutral. But in terms of the senators, they've obviously defied the party in terms of, and they've been taken through a due process, and their matter has been found that they actually were in breach of the party rules and procedures. So that is an action that's been taken by the party, and obviously the members affected have also been given the right of appeal. In terms of what's happening within the Senate and what also happened here, there was a reconstitution of the parties, of the committees and the leadership. Again, because of the feeling among the top leadership of the party that people need to move in the same direction. And hence, if you divided attention, if you making statements out there that are contradictory to where the government wants or where the party leadership wants, then it doesn't look good that you're being relied upon to carry the government agenda, but you are giving contradictory views on the same. And hence the cleaning up that was done. And that cleaning up will continue, even at the committee level.
Will it go as high as impeaching somebody?
Impeachment is is something I would not even want to see in this house.
If it comes,
I was a victim of some malicious impeachment that was totally unprocedural, and I worked very hard when we were doing the 2010 Constitution to make sure there's a there's a procedure with a proper due process in terms of how you impeach somebody. So it's not just you wake up in the morning, you don't like somebody and you bring a motion. So it's fair to it, and I'm not quite sure that anyone would actually get that threshold to be able to impeach, not even a fellow member or even a cabinet secretary, and by the time people are even thinking, or people at the levels of deputy president or president, it's a long shot.
So your faction of the Jubilee Party will not be making any move against anybody?
It's not worth.
All right.
Because we wanted to focus on going forward on the agenda of the day rather than distractions.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Safin, that was the majority leader in the National Assembly. He is also the Deputy Member of Parliament, Amos Kimunya, talking about what to expect as Parliament begins the fifth session today. The National Assembly and the Senate, they will be sitting in the afternoon, and of course those are discussions which our viewers can always tune in and watch on KBC. Both houses will be approving members to House Business Committees. Of course, without that committee, then business of the House cannot proceed. My name is Edward Kabasa, live from Parliament. I hand it back to you.